Joining me now from Kiev is Inna Sovsun, Ukrainian Member of Parliament, to tell us and give us first-hand exactly what the situation is on the ground. Welcome to the programme. Thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon. Firstly, can you just give us a little sense of what the feeling is in Kiev right now? Of course, the Russians have not yet incurred with boots on your city, but they have been dropping bombs.
Exactly. Well, good afternoon to all of you. And the bombs are very real. Just literally 5 minutes ago, while waiting to go on air, I could hear explosions in some distance from my home. But still, it is really close. It is really, really close. And we are hearing them from time to time. Actually, this morning, I was talking to my friend who's staying with me here. And she said, well, it's been so quiet that it's actually unusual, because for the whole morning, we didn't hear any explosions. Well, now we're hearing them right now here. But overall, despite the bombings, we are seeing that the Ukrainian army is doing a good job in terms of pushing Russians further from the city. So they're not as close as they were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, which is, of course, giving us hope in terms of the situation here in Kiev. Of course, the situation in several other cities, primarily in Mariupol, is completely different, and that is just a disaster what is happening here. But here in Kiev, I would say that the general feeling is better than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
That is remarkable that with the numbers difference, with the equipment difference, the Ukrainian army is able to push back the Russians from its capital city. That's a remarkable moment of hope, I suppose. I'm just trying to get a sense here of the situation in Kiev. How many people have stayed behind versus what sort of proportion, in your estimations, have left?
Well, first of all, a short comment on the numbers. Of course, the numbers of Russian army are much bigger, but Putin is not just fighting against Ukrainian army here. He is actually fighting against the whole of Ukrainian people, because Ukrainian army is not that big, but you have to realize that many people, thousands of people, have signed up for territorial defense, which is separate from the army, and I think it's more than 100,000 people who signed up for that. Then we also have the National Guard, the National Police, the special forces, who are all fighting together. So even in terms of numbers, we actually, not as bad, because again, we are fighting, all of us, all people are resistant, not just the army. And that is something that Putin did not envision, because in his understanding of the world, people do not matter. But what we are proving here in Ukraine is that people matter, they have a voice, and they are willing to take their part in terms of resisting Russians. And that is why they cannot proceed here on the ground, not just because of the army, but because also regular people are, throwing Molotov cocktails or reporting simply to the army where they have seen Russian tanks. And that is a great help to the army itself. So that is one of the important issues of the success. That is important to understand here on the ground, and that is why we are truly hopeful about how the situation will proceed.